Ooh. Hello. Is that in the shot? Hello, welcome back to my channel. It feels like a long time since I've pointed my big camera at myself and done a proper sit down video. I wanted to just talk a little bit about some reflections I've been having lately about when I first started as a freelance illustrator and just share some things I wish I had known at the very beginning. Just a little video about hindsight and just sharing some of my experiences with you. I don't think any of these things I could have learnt before I started. It's kind of like a trial and error thing. But yeah, if someone else had told me about this, I probably would have been a little bit better off. So I thought I would share my hindsight with you. Before I go any further, I just wanted to say that this video is sponsored by Skillshare again. I'm very grateful for them for wanting to work with me as a smaller creator, and I think that's a lot to do with the fact that I have such a supportive and engaged audience. So thank you to all of you if you signed up to Skillshare in my last video. If you don't know what Skillshare are, they are an online learning platform, and the reason I am bringing them up in this video is because there's a whole wealth of information from practicing freelancers and people that run their own businesses, are entrepreneurs. It's just a really great place to go for some more in-depth information. So you can find videos on YouTube, creative people sharing their experiences, and the one you're about to watch would be classed in that category. But I just feel that Skillshare is somewhere where you can go to get some more in-depth knowledge, and it's more like taking a course than just watching a YouTube video. If you are interested in signing up with Skillshare, there will be a link in the description of this video, and the first 500 people to sign up will get 2 months free, so it's a really good deal. And without further ado, I'm going to get into the video. So I'm going to sound like an old person right now when I talk about my first thing that I wish that I'd known at the start of my illustration career, and that is to resist unhealthy work habits. And I think millennials, especially maybe the older generation of millennials, which is me, I'm in my early 30s, we're very bad at that. If I think back to when I had just graduated and I was working really hard on my portfolio, I had some terrible work habits. Those would include working extremely long days, not taking any breaks, not drinking any water, not eating well. I used to just survive on biscuits and chips and just anything you can shove in the oven. I was not a very healthy eater back in the day. I did enjoy cooking, but I pushed all of that nourishment aside when I was really stuck into my work. Didn't have much money, so I didn't invest in a good chair or desk situation. But what I want to say about all of that is, once you start your bad work habits, like working without taking a break, it's really hard to break those bad habits. Setting yourself up as you embark on your career is such a good thing to do. It just makes a lot of sense to put the time in to take care of your body at the start so that you can continue using your body to pursue your dreams. I did have a really bad back problem. Actually, I wouldn't say it was a really bad back problem. It was just a back injury that I got from sitting in a really stupid chair. I had like this plastic see-through chair that had a really slanted back, so I wasn't supporting my back in any way, and I strained my tailbone, I think it was, or like the muscles around it. I'm not sure. It was kind of like sciatica that went all the way up my leg, and it meant that I couldn't sit down, so I had to lie down a lot. I had to take medication for it. I had some physiotherapy. I went to a chiropractor. I had, what's it called when they stick needles in you? What is that called? That's completely blanking right now. So now I do yoga. I haven't had back problems since. I have a good chair. This one here is very supportive. I just got it secondhand off eBay. I have a standing desk that I should use more than I do, but it is really useful for working long hours. You can adjust it and stand up and then sit down and just give your back a bit of a break. The next thing that I wish I had learnt earlier on in my career is something that's quite personal to me, and you might not relate to this, but you might. I've always struggled with low self-esteem and with self-sabotaging thoughts. When things didn't go right, when I got a rejection or something, I would say, well, you deserve that, you haven't tried hard enough, your work isn't good enough. Just all these horrible things that I would say to myself. It was only a couple of years ago that I finally was able to stop those thoughts and to realise how detrimental they are to my mental health. And I think it's something that can be really hard to quit. I think this light's terrible. Never mind. I don't think this lighting's very good, sorry. This can be something that can be really hard to change, especially when you're just starting out, because you will face a lot of setbacks and things that go wrong and rejection, and it's really hard not to punish yourself for that or see yourself as the problem. The best thing that I found that helps is to stop my self-sabotaging thoughts in their tracks and to recognise them as early as I can, because I can really ruminate on things. It just becomes this massive storm inside my my head and everything feels very negative. But if I can learn to detect those thoughts early on and stop them, I distract myself, or I will repeat some affirmations. As cheesy as they are, they really help if you are struggling with negative thoughts. I've also found listing positives in a journal really helpful. So list the things that you are grateful for and list the things that you're able to achieve each day, things that you're proud of yourself for getting done that particular day, even small things like I left the house today, I walked the dogs, I ate a healthy meal, just anything like that. Try and focus more on positives, because that's how you would treat a friend. If a friend was really struggling with their self-esteem, you would remind them to focus on the positives. You would tell them what they're good at and that they will achieve what they want to eventually, and to be kind to themselves. Do that for yourself as well. My next tip would be to try to be present every single day. And this is something that can be hard to do. You're working towards this big goal, this big push towards creating the life that you want for yourself, and it can be really hard to focus on the small things of every day. But I think thinking of the big picture every day can get a little bit exhausting, especially when it seems so far away. It can be hard to stay motivated and positive. So every day, remind yourself, you could even set a timer on your phone to be present, to look out the window, to notice the weather today, to go outside and be in nature. I find that's one of my favourite ways to be present. Be grateful for what you already have, because that's so important for your mental health, to not always be thinking of the future, to try and be present in the here and now, and not just let life pass you by. Yes, you're working towards this big thing, but the journey is important. So many people say that, don't they? That the journey is the destination. So try to enjoy the process and be present every day. And I think you'll find that you'll be much happier. If I had known that sooner, I think I would have been happier too. One thing that I got right in my early years of becoming an illustrator was to keep a journal. It wasn't actually a journal, it was a blog. And I just recorded my process, all my ups and downs. I think writing a blog or keeping a journal can be a really good place to jot down lessons that you're learning, because you'll be learning new things every day, every week. I think it can be a really good therapeutic tool after a long day to just jot down your struggles. If your mind is racing, I think just getting it down on paper or on a blog can be really helpful, and it definitely helped me as well when I was newly graduated. So I will leave my blog linked below, and I will also leave a link to a video where I'm reading through some of my old blog posts, so you can get a feel for what I was going through when I was just starting out. So my next tip would be to establish good financial habits. I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but what I mean by that is learn how to be good with money, because if you are pursuing the same career as I was, you definitely need to be good with money, because sometimes there will be a lot of it and sometimes there will be very, very little of it. I am quite a good saver. I've had the occasional blowout where I've spent a lot of money, but I mostly just like to save my money, because spending money makes me feel really stressed. I think it's kind of important to accept that when you're starting out, you might not have so much money, and you probably can't do as much shopping as society would like you to. We live in a very consumer-driven world, and you are encouraged to spend a lot. When you step back, you realise you don't need as much as they are trying to tell you you do. So I think that's something that I've incorporated in more recent times, is to be less materialistic, and that's really helped me as an illustrator with varying amounts of money coming in every month. And I'm always just saving as well, because you never know what's around the corner. The last thing that I wish I had learnt sooner was to value my work and value the time that I've put into it, and also to value my industry as a whole. So when you're starting out, you might get preyed on a little bit by individuals or by businesses that know that you're new to the industry. That definitely happened to me. I was presented with some very low fees that I definitely accepted. I did a few pieces of free work, which of course I regret. When you're approached by these people, they do make it seem like it's a really good opportunity, whilst also making it seem like you're not worth any more than that. I think that when you're starting out, you have the mentality that you need to accept every opportunity that comes your way, because that's another stepping stone. Whereas sometimes it's okay to say no and just hold off until you receive an offer that you feel more comfortable with. So I want to talk about this properly in a video with more information on experiences that I've had with low paying work and what I've done about it, and also my opinion on the illustration industry as a whole when it comes to valuing artwork, because I think there's some problems there. I'm going to leave some links in the description to some really good videos on how to value your work and how to price your work properly. I just think it's important to remember when you're starting out that yes, you are new to the industry, but you've also worked pretty hard to get to where you are now. You've got a portfolio which has taken hours and hours and hours of work, and these companies are contacting you because they see that value, and don't let them tell you otherwise. I'm going to talk about that more in another video. Please check out the link to Skillshare in the description if you are interested in joining, and subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I make weekly videos about my life as a freelance illustrator, and I will see you again soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.